Rick, are you with me?
Hey, I'm with you, Paco. Good morning.
Good morning, man. I know you must have had a long night too, because man, I am dead tired after last night. I didn't get home till around 2 or 3 in the morning, man.
Well, I'll tell you, I was there at the rally at UCLA with you and 6, 7, 8,000 other people. Who knows how many? Big crowd, great
Uh-huh.
turnout. What a wonderful evening.
Oh man, Rick, I can't explain what that did for me, man. And like I was saying earlier in the show, anybody who thinks the revolution is dead, man, is mistaken. California, people are waking up, and it was a beautiful thing out there. And it's crazy. I ran into you. I was like, hey, this is Rick right here. I'm about to interview tomorrow.
Yeah, I really saw a number of friends there, but more importantly, a tremendous number of new faces, young people that I haven't seen in the Ron Paul movement in Southern California. The message is growing in a major way. There's no stopping it. This is the future. What we saw last night at UCLA is the future of America. That's where it's going.
When you got people climbing trees to see you, and you got people coming in like at the last 10 minutes of your show still coming in, I mean, it's just, I couldn't explain it, man. People were going crazy. And so were you able to get a contact with a lot of people with you, letting them know you're running for Senate and getting that word out there?
I did. I have my U.S. Senate campaign going on. We're coming up to the primary election. Our Rick Williams for U.S. Senate campaign is on the same ballot with Ron Paul on the June 5th primary. So obviously I'm encouraging all Ron Paul supporters to also support my Senate campaign. I'm a Ron Paul supporter going a long way back, and I believe in the values of Ron Paul and what he's been putting forward. So I was out there for my Rick Williams for Senate campaign, handing out flyers and meeting people, shaking hands. It was a wonderful experience for me because people care about the message and about the movement. And as wonderful as Ron Paul is, he is the voice that has led us here, but one man can't do it alone. And we have a bunch of people in California that have come forward and they're running for office in this election cycle on the ballot with Ron Paul. We've got all the Central Committee candidates. There's some good congressional candidates, Christopher David, Jenny Warman, my race for Senate, John Dennis up north. There's a bunch of people that are coming forward here in California.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people out there with the Central Committee getting the signatures. I don't know if you know, but when we got to the headquarters that night, because there was a meeting after the rally, they brought in stacks and stacks of registration forms, man, of people being registered as Republicans. So, man, if I had like a little cue to bring in a clap right now, I would, because that was great. All the signatures they got, all the more contacts, and also to let more people know about our candidates that are running. I would definitely be plugging your race here on my show, because we want you to get elected. So let's try to ask some questions here for our listeners. Let's see here. What made you come? How did you find Ron Paul? How did you come across Ron Paul? And then what made you decide to, I want to run for Senate. I want to run for office.
I've been a freedom activist my entire life. I'm a lawyer, but I'm very much someone who believes in the freedom movement. And I met Ron Paul many years ago, back in the 1990s. I'd started reading Austrian economics, and I was studying the bankers, and I was part of some groups that he came and spoke to in the 1990s. And when his campaign started in 2007, I knew that I had to become a part of it, and so that was really when I first became involved, was 2007, fairly early. And interestingly enough, my involvement back in 2007 was as a broadcaster for Ron Paul Radio, the original Ron Paul Radio.
Oh, wow.
just like you're doing now. The first time I met Ron Paul personally during the campaign was I did an interview as a broadcaster for Ron Paul Radio at the Iowa straw poll in Ames, Iowa in August of 2007. That was how I got started.
Wow, well that's great. That's awesome. Now here in California, I don't know if you remember or you heard, you probably did. We had the open and carry that I think up like a few months ago it was legal. Everything was fine, and I think they took that away if I'm not mistaken. What is your position on that, on open and carry in California?
Don't know that issue. That isn't an issue that's come across my desk.
Okay, but again, you do believe that we should have the right to protect ourselves. I know, with here in California, I've been getting told there's a lot of liberals here because I just got here, and a lot of people are against us having our right to have our guns. And what I've been told, and I'll just let you know, is we had to open and carry in California here, where you could walk around with it. It just had to be your gun. It just had to be out and open. But now, if I'm not mistaken, they've taken that away, where we don't have that right no more. So what is your position on that?
I haven't followed that issue that closely. I'm a big believer in the Second Amendment and gun rights, but I'm not I'm not comfortable myself with guns. Like I say, I'm a lawyer. I have guns, and I keep them very quietly. But frankly, if I were to be carrying a gun around, I'd be a lot more likely to shoot my own foot off than I would to stop an aggressor. So the gun issue, while I'm a big believer, it isn't something that I actually know in a really personal sense. But I do favor open carry, by the way. I think that open carry is a good way to go, and there's no reason why we shouldn't allow people to open carry. So I haven't followed how that issue is playing out, but I favor the issue.
Okay, well that's great. We all want our freedom. So if you want the freedom not to carry something like you said, then that's your freedom to do so. We just want our freedom to be able to carry ours. Now let's get to foreign policy. Well, what's your position on foreign policy? And with all this, hype going on about Iran, the media saying that we have a threat from Iran, what do you think about a possible war going on with Iran?
I actually think that it's very unlikely that the United States is going to get in a war with Iran. There's been a lot of talk about it, but the war in Iraq and the war in Afghanistan have turned out so poorly for the country that I think it would be a very, very hard sell to try to start a new war. So I look at all the talk about Iran, but I don't actually expect a war there, and certainly I don't favor one. I think people are just too tired of the whole idea of these overseas wars that never go anyplace. I mean, look at the outcomes that we've achieved in Iraq and Afghanistan. As Ron Paul says, we've spent $4 trillion and how many countless lives and ruined lives of people that are injured, and what is the outcome that we've achieved from those wars? Very hard to see much that's positive, and that's why I think the Iran war, I don't expect it to happen.
I understand. Ron Paul said that we can't just go into Iran like we did Iraq or something and expect nothing to happen. Like it's going to be a big, big problem if we were to go and stir up problems in Iran. So would you say that also in regards to Pakistan, Afghanistan, what Ron Paul says about all of our troops, would you also agree that we don't need to be anywhere, or do we need to have our forces at least somewhere? I
don't believe that we have any good position to be in Afghanistan or Pakistan or any of those countries with troops. And we simply are, what we're learning is the same thing, in putting aside the moral issue or even the strategic issue of whether it's a good idea, we're learning the lesson that Napoleon learned in Russia and the lesson that Hitler learned when he invaded Russia, that when you send your troops out way off into the field someplace in overseas lands thousands of miles away with long supply lines and all those kinds of things, pretty soon you're bankrupt and you run out of money. And you can't supply your troops anymore, and the troops are going to come home because they have to come home. That's what Napoleon learned and Hitler learned. You can't run wars thousands of miles away. Just putting aside any of the moral issues, the fact is that our wars are a failure because they simply can't be achieved. Okay. And what we're trying to achieve can't be achieved. It's not going to happen.
All right, Rick, that's our cue. Just bear with me one moment, and we'll be back. You're listening to Occupy the Media.